We are joined tonight by Bengals legend Ken Anderson. Don't laugh when I say that, Ken. You certainly are in the Ring of Honor, and I think an NFL Hall of Famer. We'll get into that conversation in just a minute. I want to start with this. You did so many great things, Ken, in your career. What do you consider as your greatest accomplishment?
You know, I don't know. I mean, I think, does it get better than being on the field at Riverfront Stadium when the clock goes to 0 and we won the AFC Championship game in the Freezer Bowl to go to the Bengals' first Super Bowl? That was a pretty special moment. A few years ago, being out on the 50-yard line when it was still Paul Brown Stadium and looking up and they take your unveil that your number is one of the first ones in the Bengals Ring of Honor. That was pretty special. So, I mean, I think it's just, in the totality of my career here and being able to spend, one career in one place, being here at almost the start of the franchise and see it kind of grow to its first Super Bowl. And, but I think more than anything else, I remember, it's just the guys I played with, the Bob Johnsons and the Bob Trumpies and the Pat Matsons and the John Shinners and the Essex Johnsons. I mean, it goes on and on up into the Collinsworths and, of course, my roommate for all those years, Dave Lapham. How could I ever forget him? Mm-hmm. But it was just, a special time of my life.
You mentioned to me that you moved back to Cincinnati full time 3 years ago because you got tired of golfing in Hilton Head. give or take, right? How often are you at Bengals games, or at least how often are you watching on Sundays when you can?
Always watching on Sundays. I think this year, counting the Ring of Honor game, I think I went to 3 games. Okay. So, but no, that's, I will say that the only game I watch from start to finish is a Bengals game. But I must admit, if it's a night game, I struggle in the second half. So that's...
Like us all.
Yeah.
Do you still live and die by the Bengals? I mean, you turn 77 soon, correct?
Correct.
Okay, here, like really soon, this
next month.
Okay, so do you still live and die by the results? How do you digest the tough losses? I'll put it that way.
Well, you kind of think about it, geez, how'd they score that many points at the end? I watch the game as a fan. I'm not watching to say, oh gosh, they ought to do this, this, and this. I'm just strictly watching it like everybody else is, just as a fan, and I get frustrated when bad ththings happen, and I'm jumping up and down when good things happen. And no, it's just, it's fun for me to watch them and, get to go down to training camp, a little bit in the summer, get to know some of the guys, a little bit here and there. So it's that's been fun.
You had the taste of what it's like to play in a Super Bowl. You have recently seen the Bengals get back to Super Bowl. I say recently, it feels like forever now,
yep.
Right? Back in the 2021 season. But you've seen Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, Zach Taylor, these guys get there and what it looks like. When you see them get that close again, and I'm not saying you're getting old, Ken, but you're getting up there a little bit, how much do you want to see this organization get back again, Joe Burrow and the guys, and win one for the first time?
Oh, that'd be great. I mean, because I'd like to go. The last time they went to the Super Bowl, I had back surgery, and my doctor would not let me travel to go do it. So, no, I mean, I think that's the franchise gets a lot of criticism sometimes, and, I take that personally, a little bit. But I think they're going in the right direction. I'm a big believer in Zach Taylor's the right guy to be the head coach. And, we've got a franchise quarterback, a generational quarterback. We've got some good players, and I got a real good feeling about this coming year.
When you watch Joe Burrow play, what do you notice about his game, and does any of your game remind you of his game?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I think it's just his preparation that he does before the game and the way that he can go up and see a certain look and get you into a play that's going to go ahead and attack that a little bit. So no, he's just his mechanics are great. He's a very accurate quarterback. So no, he's just before it's all said and done, he's going to have every record in the Bengals passing playbook or the yearbook.
Yeah.
When it's all said and done.
Sure. I mean, Ken, you retired, I believe, as like the best passer rating quarterback in AFC history. I mean, you were as efficient, accurate, elite as you can be. Joe Burrow is also one of those guys who is really, really elite at getting the ball to receivers on target, on time. What does it take to be a quarterback like that, to be that elite, to be that accurate with every pass?
Well, I mean, I think a lot of it is your preparation and reading defenses, so you know what's going on. That's kind of my background with Bill Walsh. You know, where's your primary receiver, where's your second, your third, where's your outlet? And you know, as you go along, and I was never in the shotgun, but you know, I would take my first step, and I would know right on my first step is the first guy going to be there. So my foot would hit. I'm already automatically my second receiver, so I could get through a progression real quick and get completions. I think Joe does a great job of that.
This might be a tough one for you to answer, but I'm going to put you on the spot here, Ken. What would mean more to you before you pass, hopefully 40, 50 years from now? Give or take, Ken.
I hope it's not that long.
Maybe 60 years.
Okay.
What would mean more for you, Ken, to get into the Hall of Fame or to see the Bengals win a championship?
Why do you have to do that to me? Why do you have to do that to me?
I love the look on your face.
No, I mean, certainly, you know, getting in the Hall of Fame would be a great accomplishment.
Sure.
As would seeing the Bengals, you know, win their first Super Bowl. So I'm going to say both.
Both in the same year.
Well, that would be great.
Both in the same year.
That would be great.
So let's make that the call. I put Ken on the spot. The call is both in the same year. We hope that. Let me follow up with this then. What would it mean for you to get into the Hall of Fame? You've had a long wait for this, and does it weigh on you, the burden of the waiting and the watching and hoping?
No, it doesn't weigh on me at all. I think the first time I was a finalist, you know, when I was done playing for 5 years, I got there, and it was, you know, they tell you, be by your phone at 2 o'clock on Saturday afternoon, and you sit there, and well, it's 2:10, it's 2:15, it's 3 o'clock. I guess I'm not going to get the call.
Yeah.
That bothered me a little bit, and you know, I was there one more time, and I've gotten to the semifinals a few times as a senior, and of course, you know, this year as a finalist. And if it happens, great, but it's not going to be the end all of it, you know, because when I think back, we talked about the totality of my career. And the things that I've accomplished, and you know, hopefully left the franchise a better place at the end than when I got there. I take a lot of pride in my career here in Cincinnati, and you know, I'm in my high school Hall of Fame. I'm in my college Hall of Fame at tiny Augustana College, and the Bengals Ring of Honor. That ain't bad for a kid from Batavia, Illinois, and Augustana College.
How many grandkids do you have?
6.
6. Okay, so you've got 6 grandkids, a pretty big family, obviously. How often do they say, Grandpa, you getting in? Dad, you getting in? How much does your family talk about it?
Not a lot, you know, especially the grandkids. It's more, I've got one that's really into the NBA, and Grandpa, I mean, can you get me Giannis's autograph? No, I don't know him.
You're an NFL legend. Can't you just get a current NBA star's autograph?
So that's kind of a lot of the conversations, and you know, it's fun to go watch them. You know, whether they're playing soccer or basketball, and I've got. My granddaughter Mia's a pretty doggone good volleyball player. She's a freshman over at Notre Dame Academy over in Covington. So it's fun to see them play, and it's fun just to be Grandpa.
Do you feel the groundswell from Bengals fans? I know you're on social media, maybe not all the time, but do you notice that? Because there's so many fans who want to see you get in. Yeah,
I do see that, and I'm very appreciative of that. And like I say, just the support I've gotten for the Cincinnati community, and you know, I always thought that Cincinnati and me were a good fit. You know, it was just you know, coming from a small town and a small college, coming to Cincinnati, and you know, for most of the career was accepted. You know, except maybe for that '79 beginning of '80 season, which we won't talk about. But you know, this was a great place to live, a great place for my kids to grow up, a great place to play football. I remember, you know, if you go back to '71 in the draft, and it was Jim Plunkett was number 1, Archie Manning was number 2, Dan Pastorini was number 3, Lynn Dickey went before me, Joe Theismann went right after me. Kind of the first year of the quarterback, and a couple of years ago, I think it was the Mahomes-Trubisky year. They're calling that the year of the quarterback, but they did an article about that '71 draft class in Sports Illustrated, and Jim Plunkett said, you know, of all the guys, Kenny was the lucky one. He got to go to Paul Brown, Bill Walsh, the Bengals, a stable franchise, and I think that was, I've always taken that to heart, that was the right place for me.
For all the great things you've accomplished, Ken, what do you feel like was a seminal moment in your career, maybe way, way young, right, for you, that helped you move from maybe this is for me, not really sure, to definitely this game is for me?
Oh, I don't know. I think maybe it was kind of my first start, which was 72 as a starting quarterback against New England. We had a pretty good day there. And I remember Johnny Morris was doing the game for NBC, and he came down to the field to interview me after the game. And of course, I grew up as a Bear fans in Chicago, and this was a big deal. And he slipped me $50. And I said, hey, this is a great way to make a living, isn't it? I mean, I was only making $18,000. I mean, I'll take anything I can get. So no, but I just think it was kind of going to the playoffs the first time in '73, and going back in '75 and '75, my first Pro Bowl. I said, okay, I can play this game.
What do you want people to know about Ken Anderson or remember you for when it's all said and done, when they say your name, when they think about you, maybe it's the eulogy, God forbid, what do they say about Ken Anderson?
That he tried to make the town that he lived in better, and certainly, I was a Man of the Year back in 1975. I was doing a lot with Easter Seals at that point, was on their board, and now starting the Ken Anderson Alliance, which is doing very well right now. And so those, I think, the football stuff, that's great and everything, but hopefully I'm leaving a lasting impression on the community that I live in.
What are you doing for fun these days?
Chasing grandkids around. Gosh, we were down in Lexington babysitting last week. Luckily, we don't live down there because my son's street had just 6 inches of ice on it.
It's crazy.
So it was that going watching grandkids play sports. Can't wait for the NFL flag football game tonight. Flag football game tonight.
That's right.
I remember, my first game, Pro Bowl is '75. I was down in New Orleans. John Madden was the head coach. And, I think the winners got $1,000, the losers got $500. So it was a little bit different than it is today. And we played a real game.
Yeah.
And it was the same way. The next year we were in Seattle, and Chuck Noll was the head coach. And then in '81, after that season, it was Don Shula was the head coach out in Hawaii. And I remember going up to him, after the game, and we got out there. And of course, I was a little bit dejected. We just lost the Super Bowl. I'm going right out there to play in the game, and we're in pads every day. We're running sprints after practice. I mean, he's just working us to death. And I told every guy I said, Coach, man, you just killed us in that game. He says, did we win? And I said, yes, Coach, we did. He said, there you go.
What is one thing about today's game that you think maybe needs to change or you don't love right now?
Oh, I don't know. I think, I love the wide open game, and I think when I started, number one, it was only a 40-man roster. So you never went 3 wide receivers because you only had 3 on the team. And the offensive linemen could not have their hands leave the framework of their body, so it was tough to pass protect. So if you threw the ball 18 times a game, that was kind of a lot. It was a running game today. And then as soon as they expanded the roster, and then, the middle linebacker comes out for safety, let's put a 3rd wide receiver in. So the way it's gone, I would have loved to have played.
You would
nowadays.
like to live in an empty set, 5-wide world.
Well, that wouldn't have been too bad. That wouldn't have been too bad at all. But no, it's fun. But I will tell you, I think the best play I ever made in my career was the game I was 20 out of 22 against Pittsburgh. But we're going in, I think we got a 3-point lead. We're going in to score to ice the game near the end. And our running back is tackled, rolls over, ball's laying there. Play should have been blown dead. The whistle didn't blow it. Mike Wagner picks up the ball and takes off. Well, I cut him off at the sideline, and it wasn't a push out. It was a head across the bow, wrap him up, tackle, punished him. And that play I take more pride in maybe than anything in my career.
Is there a photo of this somewhere?
No, but isn't it about 75 that we beat them 20? I don't know. You got to look up that video.
I'm going to have to look it up.
But it was that was the crowning moment of my career. And he played at Western Illinois, which was just down the road from Augustana. They were a Division II team, but when we were freshmen, I did play against him, and we beat him there. Before
I let you go, I do want to ask you about the Ken Anderson Alliance. You mentioned this. You're doing great things with it. What are you trying to accomplish? What have you accomplished with the KAA?
Well, I think just trying to make the lives of adults with developmental and intellectual disabilities better. You know, right now we're doing adult day services. We're doing music therapy. Well, we're going out in the community in groups and servicing about 300 adults a month, and I'm very proud of that. And you know, things are looking good, and we, you know, we're just kind of plugging along. And but that's something I just had a big meeting this morning. But when I'm having a down moment, I kind of just go out to our headquarters and going back and listen to the kids and playing instruments and singing and just the unadulterated joy of making music, and that warms my heart, puts a smile on my face.
Do you feel like, before it's all said and done, you will have a chance to be watching Joe Burrow in the Super Bowl again, in person, winning it all?
Yes, I do. I feel very good about that.
Said that quick.
Yes. Wow. No, I mean, like I say, I think we're going to go in the right direction. We'll get the defense figured out a little bit this year. We know we're going to score points. Was really impressed with Chase Brown, you know, as a running back last year. So I think we had a little bit of a running game. I think the offensive line got better as the season went along. So I think we'll address some needs on defense, and here we go, babe.
Do you ever call Mike Brown and just say, hey, I know we haven't chatted in a while, but I got some thoughts?
No, I'll go down, when I go down the stage, I'll go down and go up and we'll talk, but it's more about old memories. Sure. It's not about telling him how to run the team.
Yeah, he has enough input from others.
That's exactly right.
Okay.
He got enough of that when I was playing. He doesn't need it now.
We could talk all day. How's the golf game?
My handicap has gone up dramatically since we moved back to Cincinnati.
Not playing golf as much.
Not nearly as much, but having more fun.
Okay, that's all that matters. He is Bengals legend Kenny Anderson, and I do believe he will be in the Hall one day. We keep hoping, we keep waiting. Kenny, thank you.
My pleasure.
All right.